Think back to the distant year of 1998. A wide-eyed 6-year-old steps into a friend's house, ready to spend another boring night with a couple of his parents' friends. Little did that little kid know that his life was about to take a whole new direction. That little kid was me. What is up, everybody? I'm Mega Short Fuse, and this is my personal history of the Need for Speed series. As I mentioned way back in 1998, when I went to that, as you could say, guest staying, my parents' friend's kid showed me this. He was quite progressed to the story, and I was amazed at this screen, this rotating screen of just cars. This does not do it justice because this is Windows 7 version, but still, back then, my mind was blown. I couldn't believe that such a thing could exist and that such a thing could be handled so well. So, after a couple of tries, he actually stepped away from his driving wheel, and yes, he had a USB wheel, somehow, and gave me a go. And what followed was eye-opening, life-changing even. I picked this very car, actually, the Jaguar XK8, and I did the exact thing I'm about to do. Well, not exactly, but really close, really close to it. I played on Hometown, a map which, again, I've played today, and I'm sure many of you do remember. I screwed it up badly here, but what I'm trying to get across is this was amazing to me. Like, cars driving down a road at speeds and overtaking each other. It was everything in the movies, as you can say, and more. As the night went on, I progressively got more and more invested into the game, and eventually I started branching out. I started playing with even faster cars, and after a couple of months, it was my birthday. And everybody I knew very pleasantly surprised me by getting me a wheel, like a USB wheel, and this for my birthday. And I remember very clearly that night I hardly slept at all. It's a miracle that I would even able to make it to school the next day, but hey, what do you gotta do? But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and looking back at it now, I gotta say that doesn't really hold up. I'm sorry, but the nostalgia factor aside, maybe it's just because it's staples of modern gaming, I still love this game. I want to prefix by saying that I truly love this game for what it is and for what it did, which was basically introduce me to racing games and got me interested in gaming again, because up until that point, I was playing crap like Tarzan's Adventure, which was a game I got from a cereal box. That was awful, and I was about to move away when this came into my life, and it just basically swallowed up the next year and a half of my life. But I played this religiously. I beat it a couple of times, and being very little, I never really got an appreciation for what it is. So looking back at it now, this was released in almost the PS2 era, 1998. That was still PS1, and for PS1 this looks amazing. The cars are jaggedy, of course, but the reflection detail is the stuff of legends. You can actually see the trees. Like, this might not sound like a lot to a modern gamer, but back then that was amazing. That was eye-bleedingly gorgeous. And the car variety was great. It had cars that don't exist or no one has heard of anymore. I wish I could show you the full car list, but I sadly can't because, again, Windows 7 version. The driving itself, back then, I mastered it. Right now, it's still good. It's still a very good arcadey racer. One thing I do remember, though, it is painfully easy. More on the racer side than the police side, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but the gist of it is that either the opposition is quite easy, or the police has to, like, literally get you to a complete stop. Like you're seeing now. I did manage to get myself caught, but then again, I really wanted to put this in the video to show basically how it worked. And it was very hard to stop me at my peak when I had actually mastered this game, and it was very hard to stop me. But just that easiness of the game is what made it what makes it not hold up today. Like, everything is great, but there's no challenge. Even on all the maps, which are extremely varied, every single, you know, racing course in this map, in this game is greatly expertly designed. Even the environment affects how you drive, which is mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing at the time. And, yeah, just, I guess I'm jaded by modern gaming, but it's slightly worse than I remember it. One thing that is awesome to this day, though, is the music. Just listen to that. Listen to that for a second. That got me so hyped to play this game every single time. But yeah, I guess racing side was too easy. I explained why, and the cop side. Playing as a cop, you naturally had to bust the racers, and where it differs from modern games is that you had to stop them completely. They couldn't move, or they would get away. And the AI on this is still kind of dumb, but there's something, I'm gonna get to that later, but yeah, playing as a cop is great. Like, now I can't remember all the button combinations, but I do recall being roadblocks you can call in, and spike strips, I'm sorry, were extremely tricky to use, but as you can see now, races are quite dumb and quite easy to just stop. And I completely forgot that you had to turn on your siren to actually make the guy stop. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Every time you were falling back or falling behind, you could just restart or reset your car's position in front of all the racers. Guaranteed to bust someone if you can steer in their way and they hit you at full force or speed. That was great. That was mindless fun at its best. But yeah, I love this. I still, honest to God, love this. Despite all its flaws, despite it not really holding up as much as I would like it to, this still is a great game. And I owe it gaming. I literally owe it gaming. And after I played that for an extremely long period of time, it was time for the stakes to get higher.